Welcome to this total body resistance training workout for your performance phase. So this is the point at the late follicular phase, kind of leaning into the ovulatory phase, where we see a few things happening metabolically and with our physiology. Things like a surge of estrogen and a little bit of a bump in testosterone. With those come elevated energy levels. We also have the anabolic quality of those hormones working to help us build new muscle. It's a time of peak energy and peak performance. So that is the name of the game in this workout for today. Before we get started with our warm-up, I'm going to run through just a couple of different exercises that are a little bit different than the baseline workout. So you have the option of sticking with the baseline movement, or you can kind of engage in a little bit more challenge, a little bit more power to complement the physiology that's in this phase. So our first movement pattern is a renegade row. So you have all the same progressions and modifications for the renegade row, but in this ovulatory peak performance phase, we're adding a push-up. So in your renegade row, again, you have the options of being in a tabletop, you can be in a bear plank with the knees hovering, or you can be in full plank. For the renegade row, we're taking the elbow straight back toward the hip, alternating sides, and then now we're adding a push-up. So we come down and press straight up. As you push up, make sure you're keeping the body in that straight axis so the hips aren't dipping or hiking up. We're staying straight and strong. If you need to, you can lower the knees. Just make sure that as you lower the knees, the hips are forward of the knees. So we're in more of a half plank, less of a tabletop. So again, we have the row each side, and then we're adding a push-up. That's our power movement for the first circuit. And then we're coming into the kneeling hip thrust, which is the same in the baseline workout, but now we're adding a get up to it. So again, the baseline movement is a simple kneeling hip thrust. We hip hinge and then drive the hips up. That can be your movement. You might stay here depending on where you are in your fitness journey, if you're a beginner, or maybe your energy levels aren't quite ready for the full expression, the full get up. If you are adding that power and speed, we're coming into the hip thrust here, and then we step up with one foot into a squat and to stand. Then we reverse that. We come down to kneeling, we lower the hips and lift the hips up into that kneeling hip thrust. Then we'll switch sides for the get up. Adds a little bit of power, a little bit more work in the legs. Then, just as we did in the baseline workout, we come into our front press with a curl. So you're in that kneeling position once again. We press the weight forward, curl it up, bring it down and into your chest. So again, it's out. We keep the elbows at the same height, shoulder height the entire time. We take it back and into the chest. That's our first circuit. Our second circuit, we're switching from 3 exercises to 2, but we're adding a lot of power. So this pair of exercises will really elevate your heart rate and challenge your power and stamina. So in the baseline workout, we have the dumbbell deadlift. So we're adding that again here. But this time we're coming all the way to the floor. So we'll lower the weights all the way down in that hip hinge movement. And then we're adding the sprawl. So it's kind of a half burpee. We jump back to plank and back to center. And then we rise up. That's the deadlift motion. We come down, hop the feet back, forward, and lift up. If you're looking for low impact, as you come down, simply step back, step forward, but aim to make that a quick transition. So we're looking for those fast twitch fibers to challenge your endurance, challenge your conditioning during this workout. After the dumbbell deadlift with the sprawl, we'll come back into that front rack position. So the weights are at the shoulders. And here we're coming into the front squat, which is our baseline movement pattern, and we're combining the press and the front squat into a thruster. So the movement looks like this. We squat it down, elbows come to the knees, and then we drive the weights overhead with some power. So again, we squat down and drive the weight overhead. So drive all the way from the heels to bring those weights overhead. key alignment that you probably got in the original movement tutorial for taking the weights overhead. Just make sure you're not arching the lower back and flaring the low ribs. Instead, we want to integrate the low belly by gently moving the tailbone toward the inner heels, lifting the hip points toward the low ribs, and stretching up through the heart. That keeps your belly braced so that you can move the weights safely overhead. Our third circuit, very similar to the baseline workout, we're starting with alternating reverse lunges with an upright row. So here we're adding some movement to what was originally a static split squat. Now instead, we're stepping back into a lunge and then adding the row. We step back and add the row. So it's nice and quick, but with expert form. So it's slow and smooth is fast. We step back, upright row. With that, then we will step back with one foot. We'll bring the knee down, drop down to one weight, and we have our wood chop exercise. So we're taking the weight either end in each hand. We come down to that back hip, and then we drive the weight across and up. So here, keep your hips square and use the power of the low belly and the hips to get that weight up and across. And then we're switching once again to reverse lunges, this time with a hammer curl. So you can grab your weights, we'll step back, and then up with the hammer curl. Back and curl. So the elbows stay close, hugging into the body the entire time, and we have the curl. And then we step back to the other side for the wood chop on the other side to even it out. Those are our exercises for this workout. A few notes on the framework, the container of the workout. So the prescribed version of this workout includes AMRAPs for each of these three circuits. Meaning you have a set time limit and you perform as many rounds as possible within that time frame. So it's sort of a challenge against yourself. You're looking to perform at least 3 sets, if not more, in the allotted time. So for the first circuit, we have 9 minutes. For the second circuit, we have 6. And for the final circuit of 4 exercises, we have 12 minutes. So you have that timer going and you're completing just as many rounds as you can, 12 reps of each exercise. For the guided video, however, we're switching that just a little bit. When we work into a prescribed rep scheme, and especially in the AMRAP format, it can be hard to use a guided video because the pace is so unique. So you're going to have your own pace, your own rhythm. For that reason, the guided video will use interval training throughout. So we're using 45-second working intervals, 15 seconds of rest, so it's quick. We're kind of looking for that same AMRAP conditioning effort there, but we're using those intervals throughout. So you're aiming to get 12 reps in each interval, so you're moving efficiently and quickly to develop power and speed. So we'll have each circuit 3 rounds. I'll be guiding you all the way through. So those are our movements. We'll now get into our warm-up. I'll set our timer here. And we will be ready to move in about 15 seconds. We're starting same warm-up as the other workouts. We're doing a squat with a rotation first. So find a nice space to move around. Let your toes turn out, your heels turn in. And we'll get going in 3, 2, and 1. We take it down and rotate. Make sure you're pivoting on the back toes. Here, we're looking just to connect with the rhythm of your breath. We're looking to kind of mobilize the joints, activate the major muscle groups so that when the time comes, you are ready to move that load around. Squat and a rotate. After this, we're coming to the back of the mat for plank walkout to push up. In 3, 2, and 1. Come to the back of your mat. Slowly lower down. Walk your hands out into a plank and push up. Chest to the earth and press it away. Walk the hands back. You can always have your knees down if you need. Coming out so you can bring the knees down, chest to the floor. Press and squeeze the thumbs together as you come up to standing. We've got a few more seconds here. Push up. Walk it out, And then here we're walking out to downward dog once again, warming the spine. So from downward dog, we'll inhale, bring the knees down, soften the belly, stretch the spine, gaze up. Exhale, downward facing dog. So again, warming the breath, inhale, come down. In and out through the nose where possible, maybe forceful exhales through pursed lips to help connect to the belly. Inhale. And last one, exhale it all the way to downward dog. Now we'll move through our plank launch. So lift the heels, bend the knees, bring your hips toward your heels, and launch forward into plank. Come back like you're loading that spring in this crouching downward dog, and then launch it forward. You'll start to feel the legs fire up, really engage the quads to press you forward, and find that alignment in plank. So you find that stopping point of the shoulders directly over the wrists. We're here for 3, 2, 1. This time, step your right foot forward between your hands. Open the right arm up in a twist. And then we switch sides. Come back to that launch. Switch left foot forward. Rotate it open. You got it. Step it back. Load the spring. Step forward and rotate. So we're getting into all planes of motion in the spine. We're working into the hips, the knees, and the ankles, and also the shoulders and wrists. Last one here. And then we'll step the feet together, come back into our squat movement pattern with a side bend. We squat it down and side bend. Down and reach. So take that opposite arm all the way over, broaden into the sides of the waist, awaken the side channels of the spine. Breathe in and out. Breathe it in and out. So making that connection to the breath to bring your attention to the present. Coming to our hip hinge next. So feet are parallel. We're folding the body in half at the hips. We reach it forward, bend the elbows to the side, squeeze the back, reach it out, and to stand. Reach forward, elbows to your sides, reach, and come up. So it's a lat pull down here. We're targeting the upper back, reaching, creating some balance. Shift the weight forward into the ball mounds of your feet while keeping your heels anchored. This time we're coming into a lateral lunge with a chest fly. So feet are nice and wide, toes facing forward. We're going to open and close. Open and close, side to side. So we're stretching the chest and the back here. Warming the shoulders. Connecting with the rhythm of your breath here. Kind of tapping into the inner thighs. Last one here. Come up through center. This time turn your toes out. Heels in. Come into a goddess squat. Find your deep lunge here. That stretch and mobility in the hips. Make sure that your knees are opening so that you can see your big toes. Then we'll take the heels of the hands, point them inward, and dip the shoulders one at a time. So dip it down. Really press the inner thighs open. The knees apart. And you can shrug the shoulders here, get a bit of traction in the low spine. Last 2, 1. Then we'll heel toe the feet together so that your big toes are touching. Lift the heels, come into a ball pose squat. So curl into a ball and then straighten the legs any amount, fold. Inhale, come into ball pose. And exhale, belly, heart, chest to the thighs, release the head. Inhale, big breath, and exhale. So we'll have a quick transition after this last warm-up exercise before we come into our weighted practice. So slowly roll up bone by bone. That is our warm-up. And now we'll get ready to move with the weights. So we've got about 20 seconds before we start with our renegade row and push-up. So this is our first circuit, 3 exercises, 3 rounds. We have 45-second working intervals and very quick 15-second rest. So be ready to make those quick transitions. We're going to move into position, renegade row in 3, 2, 1. Take the elbow to hip. 1 and 2. Then we come back to center. Push up, down and up. Take it back. That elbow to hip, down and up. Move as quickly as you can while maintaining form. Down and up. Breathe here. Exhale on the exertion. Shoulders and hips stay square. We've got 20 more seconds. So you're aiming for 10 to 12 reps if you can, while maintaining that form. Breathe for 5 more seconds here. You got it. Last 2 and 1. Quick transition to our hip thrust with get up. So don't sweat it in this guided version. If you don't hit your rep range, that's okay. We're aiming for power and speed, which we have in those intervals. Here we go. Hip hinge, lift, extension, step up and up. Take it down, down, hip hinge, thrust, and switch sides. So it's a kneeling hip thrust with that added get up here. Find the rhythm. Let it be slow and smooth is fast. So it's that mantra of the Navy SEALs that we can use to create focus while also working on power and speed. We don't have to abandon all of the good mechanics for the sake of pace, but instead we can have both, especially in this high performance phase, and rest. Set one weight off to the side, kneeling front press and curl coming up next. Gather your breath. We'll go in 5 seconds. Grab your weight, bring it up to your chest, hug the elbows into the midline. Let's begin. Take it out, curl it up, straight, back to your chest. Here we are. Curl, back, and in. So keep the tops of your feet pressing down to stabilize the lower body. Try not to lean forward or back. Keep that torso nice and steady. Up, curl, back, and in. Right after this, we're coming to the top of round 2. Renegade row with a push-up. In just about 10 more seconds here. We will transition. Get your reps here. 3, 2, and 1. So we're building on the first week workout on that prime phase. We prepared the body for this movement, and now we're in our peak performance. So bringing all the good mechanics that we've been practicing into this workout. Here we go. Renegade row. Take it up and up. Push up quick. Down and back. Up, up, and then push up. Keep the spine straight and strong as you come down into that push up. Use the arms, use the chest. You got this. We're here for 20 more seconds. Keep it stable and strong. If you need to, in this narrow grip, the push-up can be extra challenging. You can always lower to the knees for the push-up portion. Row and row. Down to the push-up. Chest to the floor and up. Rest. Kneeling hip thrust with a get up. So you're in your kneeling position. We bring the weights to the shoulders. We'll go in 5 seconds here. Get ready for that hip hinge to thrust and then rise to stand. Let's begin. Take it down and up, up, and to stand, then back down. You can make this one movement where you're stepping forward with the hip thrust to make it a little bit smoother, a little bit more fluid. Remember to alternate sides in that step up, down, and up. Use that power. So we're moving total body, even though this is a lower body focused movement, you're working to stabilize the upper body the entire time. Breathing here. Don't lose track of your breath. And rest. Kneeling, front press to a curl. Take a few deep belly breaths. Bring it back to that neutral place. And we move in 5. These are very quick transitions. It's that AMRAP motivation here. So we're looking to get as many reps as possible in each interval. Curl and bring it back down to chest. Take it out. Curl, back, and in. Try not to lean back. I feel myself doing that as the weight gets heavy across that long lever arm. Curl it up. Take it back in. Press it out. Squeeze the ends of that dumbbell. Press through the tops of your feet. Lift the hip points towards your low ribs to brace the belly. Just 10 more seconds here. Let's get it. Press, curl, reach, and back in. Last 2 and 1. Renegade row is next. Final round. And then we have a full minute of rest between this circuit and our next circuit. And you should be ready for that rest. 3, 2, and 1. Take it back to the row, back, and push up. Elbow to hip, elbow to hip. So we keep the shoulders externally rotated the entire time. If you find, like that last one for me, that you're having to kind of wiggle to get up out of the push-up, just drop to the knees. Maintain your form, protect your back. There's so much work, so much quality work to be done in the progressions. So knees down really allows you to maintain your form in the upper body so that you're getting the most of each rep. And rest. Coming into our kneeling hip thrust with a get up. So you have your shins on the mat. Let's bring the weights to that shoulder rack position. And we'll go in 3, 2, 1. Hinge it back. Drive the hips. Step up and up. So as you drive the hips, step that foot up. Use the momentum. I know maybe you're feeling this in your arms as well, holding the weights in that shoulder rack position, especially after the front press with curl. It's isolation in the shoulders there, and now we have this static hold. So stay with it. Find your rhythm, alternating sides here. Almost there. This is our last round of these. Make them count. Down. Drive the hips up and up. Take it down and rest. Dropping one weight off to the side. Coming into the front press with curl for 45 seconds. Last interval of this circuit. Get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Press it out. Curl it up, out, and back. Squeeze the ends of the dumbbell. I know it's getting heavy. Keep your elbows hugging to the center. So as you get tired, those elbows are going to want to wing out, but instead, keep them in that stable loading position. Right to the center. Connect to your breath once again. So in the peak performance phase, you can be pushing your conditioning. You can be pushing into that max effort. It's important to visit your edge often so that we can, little by little, progressively shift that edge and grow. Rest. So we have the remainder of this interval, 15 seconds of rest, and then we'll have a nice longer rest period between circuits. So shake it out, maybe some rotation. We have a full minute here. Maybe take hands to knees, cat and cow spine, just to release any residual tension there from the first circuit. And now we're coming into a real true conditioning set. So we have our dumbbell deadlift with the sprawl that's jumping back and the squat thruster. These are going to get your heart rate up and moving, but it's quick. We just have 2 exercises, 3 rounds. So it's a quick 6-minute circuit. So take a few deep belly breaths here. Maybe roll the shoulders. In about 20 seconds, we'll get going. So get ready to bring your weights by your sides to the outer edges of the feet. In position here for the dumbbell deadlift to the sprawl. You can pick up your weights. We're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the weights down, hop it back, forward, drive it up through the heels. Back, forward, drive it up. These should be quick. You can count your reps, so you can set the first round as your threshold and try to meet or beat that in subsequent rounds. I like to do that in any HIIT workout where there's no prescribed rep scheme, to sort of help challenge the effort, especially in the peak performance phase. So you want to keep that same level, that same high intensity effort from start to finish. We're here for 5 more seconds. Drive it up and back. Coming into the squat thruster next. Very quick rest, just enough to gather your breath and get into position. So squat thruster, we come into that front squat and drive the weights overhead. Let's begin. 2, 1. Here we go. Squat it down. Drive the weights overhead. Down. Press through the heels. Keep your belly braced by lifting the hip points toward the low ribs at the top. So we're not arching the low back, but we're using mobility in the shoulders. You can hear it in my breath, that high intensity effort. So wherever you can, work to deepen that breath so you can deliver more oxygen to your muscles with each in-breath. We've got 10 more seconds here. This is a challenging one. You can always alternate sides if you need to, taking one arm at a time. And rest. Set those weights down, shake it out. Just a quick 15-second rest. And we're coming into round 2. So it's that deadlift to a sprawl. Grab your weights. Remember, we're moving quickly and efficiently. Here we go. Take it down, hop back, forward, and up. Remember your rep goal from round 1. Trying to meet or beat that here. Drive it back. Nice, stable hop backs. Hips aren't dipping. Finding that strong, steady plank. Driving it up through the heels. You should feel the posterior chain. So backs of the legs and then the entire spine working in that deadlift movement pattern. Last 5 seconds here. Get one more rep and rest. 15 seconds. Coming into the squat thrust next. I know your breath is working, so if you need to, you can take longer rest. You can use the pause button, or let's get it in 2, 1. Here we go. Take it down. Drive it up, down, and up from the side so you can see the spine. The lower back is neutral through the squat, and then especially as you take the arms overhead. Drive it up and back down. We're almost through round 2, and then just one more of each exercise. Take it down, drive it up. 15 seconds. You got this. Push through the heels. Move that weight up and overhead. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set your weights down. Gather your breath. Maybe take a very small sip of water. We're moving already in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the weights come up. We lower down. Hop back and forward to a lift. Take it down, back, and up. Find the backs of the legs by driving through the heels. Straight up to stand in that hip extension. Find the power on the way up. Like you're driving those weights. Imagine pushing the floor away from you. That's where the effort is by driving the heels into the floor. I know those weights are getting heavy. Even if you're in the medium range. 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Take every last moment of rest here as we come in for squat thrusters. Final round. Know that you have a full minute of rest on the other side of this interval. Get ready in 2, 1. Take it down. Drive it up. Squat thrust. Here we go. Down and up. So we're combining that front squat movement with the overhead press. But this one, more of a push press. So you have the legs working to help take those weights up and over. Again, if you need it, You can always alternate one side and then the other, then maybe both together. That's the option for me in this moment. Definitely feeling that peak effort, that 100% mode. 2 and 1, rest. Set your weights down mindfully, carefully. Definitely thankful that I opted for the medium set in that round. Being that it was lower body focused, you can get away with slightly heavier weight, but the conditioning effort means lighter weight can benefit your training. So you're getting that power and speed. We're in our minute rest here, so try not to stop moving too abruptly. So maybe you're just twisting the spine, maybe taking some conscious inhales and exhales. We're coming into our reverse lunge next. Maybe roll the shoulders with the upright row. So be ready to grab your weights. And we're stepping back with alternate knees, side bend here. One, and then the other with an upright row in between. So we get ready to move in about 10 seconds here. So take your weights by your sides. Find that strong, steady stance. Big breath in. Complete breath out. Let's begin. Step it back and upright row. Back together, row it up. So as you row, keep the shoulders broadening apart. Keep the elbows in a more neutral height. So we're not tipping the elbows straight up, but instead broadening across the chest, keeping the shoulders nice and wide. Here we go. Back and row. So this one, less conditioning, but we're adding more movement to the baseline exercise to kind of leverage the peak performance physiology here. We're going to our rest in 3, 2, and 1. Step your left foot back, right foot forward. Come into that half kneeling position, preparing for our wood chop exercise. So again, bracing the legs, hugging the legs toward the midline, going in 3, 2, 1. Drive it across and up. Press down through that back shin to stabilize. Take it back and down. Up and across. So if this gets to be too much with straight arms, you can always do this in a tighter bent elbow position. Just really driving through the hips, just with a decreased lever arm. So less distance away from the center of the body. Here we go. 12 more seconds. Forceful exhales on that high exertion. Last 3, 2, and 1. You can grab both weights now. We're coming back to the reverse lunge, this time with a hammer curl. So as you're ready, grab those weights. 3, 2, and 1. We step it back together, hammer curl. Back and down, up and curl. Here we go. Lower the back knee, straight up, straight down, so that the shoulders are directly over the hips. 90-90 in the knees, so it's a close stance, not your widest lunge here. Something really sustainable, so you can target that front glute as you drive through the heel. Take it back and curl. 15 more seconds on the clock. This is our longest interval because we are splitting sides of the body, doing each side independently, and rest. Take the left foot forward into your half kneeling position. You can drop one weight to the side. We'll get ready for wood chop on the second side now. Getting ready to close out round 1. Press through the back shin. Here we go. Cross and up. Drive it diagonal. So we're working the anterior oblique sling here to tone the pelvic floor, to tighten any gaps there, closing separation that you might have in the pubic bones. This is a great exercise to stabilize the strength and mobility of the pelvic floor. So really hug the energy of the legs to the midline, even though we're in that split leg posture. They're hugging together to move that weight across your body. 2 and 1. That is round 1. Slowly come up, take a big breath. We're getting into round 2. Reverse lunge to upright row. Grab your weights. We'll move in 3, 2, 1. Step it back and row it up. Back and up. So use that rhythm to take the weights up to chest. Driving through the front heel to lift the back leg forward. Spread the front toes. Create that stable base of support. That stable loading plane. And we're here for 15 more seconds. I know we're getting to the end of the workout, that max effort zone. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set your weights down. Keep your right foot forward, left knee back. Half kneeling position, single weight in your hands. Getting ready for wood chops. We are in round 2, and let's move. Take it down and across. Find your breath, that forceful exhale. Let it make a sound. And again, you can always be in just the power, so that initiating energy, just taking the weight from the hip to the shoulder. It doesn't have to be straight arm across. You can even alternate between one and the other, especially like me, if you're starting to get tired. Don't compromise your form, especially in these movements that have that rotational element. We want to protect the back, particularly the low back, which is hypermobile and tends to take any compensation that we might have. Set those weights down. Slowly come up. Reverse lunge to a hammer curl coming up next. We're in the ovulatory phase. You're probably sweating and cooling more efficiently. So towel off if you need to. And let's begin. Take it back. Hammer curl together. Back and together. You got it. Slow and smooth. And smooth is fast. That's how we get through these high intensity workouts. Is just focus on the next quality rep, making it smooth and steady. We layer one after the other. That's how we build. Try not to worry about how much is left or how much you've already done. Just focus on your next best rep. 10 more seconds here. You got it. Stay with me. Back and together. Slowly come down, rest. Have that left knee forward, coming into the wood chop on the second side. Grab your weight, bring it to chest. We'll move in 3, 2, 1. Gather your breath, take it down and across. Brace the belly. So lift your hip points toward your low ribs. Stretch your heart up and out. We got this. This is the end of round 2. We have just one more round coming up after this. Take it up and across. Up and across. Remember, you have the option for that bent elbow. If you need it, driving just to the shoulder. So I know I'm hitting that point in the workout where I need to preserve energy. So slowing it down, taking a little bit of the intensity away and drop it down so that I can stay strong till the finish. So there's that intuitive component to any workout where you're modifying as you go. You can always change your mind. Let's begin. Step it back, upright row, reverse lunge to a row. Try not to swing the weights up, but use that strong muscle engagement to lift them into position. We got this. This is the last round of weighted work. In this workout, you have committed You are moving your body in peak performance. Stay with it till the very end. Start to finish with whatever modifications needed. You can alternate arms. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set those weights down. Right foot forward, left shin back. So this last round, what do you need to change? What do you need to adapt to keep your quality form? Start to finish. Here we go. Take it up and across. Maybe it's slowing the pace. Maybe it's taking that bent arm variation. Just stay with it. Stay steady. You are almost there. About 2.5 minutes left in this weighted workout. We're here for 20 more seconds on the clock. Take it up and across. You always have that bent elbow option. Reaching from the back hip to drive it up. Forceful exhales as you come up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set that weight down. Just 2 more exercises. Coming into reverse lunge with a hammer curl. Know that you can always drop down to 1 arm at a time if you need to. I know you're sweating. I know you're tired. Let's begin. Take it back. Curl it up. Back and up. Keep the elbows hugging into your sides the entire time. So it's isolation work in the biceps as you come up. We are almost there. This is the home stretch of our weighted workout. Just 20 more seconds. I know these intervals start to feel long. Alternate arms if you need to. I'm going to move in that direction now. Just to sustain the rest of the workout. Last big rep here. Make it count. And rest. Left foot forward, right knee back. Coming into half kneeling. Final exercise of this workout. You do have the optional Tabata finisher, but if you are feeling complete, you can always skip to the cool down. Let's begin. Take it up and across. Down. Drive that weight. From the back hip, using the obliques, the strength of the spine, to take that weight up and across. If you need to, bend the elbows, take that weight to the opposite shoulder. Back hip to shoulder. Take it across the body. Maybe come in for the full movement in the last 10 seconds. Let's get it there now. Up and across. Down and across. Here we go. Last 5. 2 and 1. Set those weights off to the side. Mindfully, slowly come up. Your heart rate is likely pretty elevated still. So just some gentle movement, maybe side to side, sweeping an arm. We've got 1 minute to transition, and then you have a completely optional conditioning finisher. So keep moving here, gently, slowly, and I'll walk you through the details of our finisher. So if you're staying with it, it's just 8 minutes long. We have 2 minutes of each exercise in Tabata style. So Tabata just means we're working 20 seconds maximum all-out effort followed by 10 seconds of rest. So you want to be begging for that 10 seconds at the end of the interval. That means max effort. Leave it all out there. We have 4 exercises, 2 minutes each. And we'll start in about 20 seconds. So our first exercise is a squat to a toe touch. You can make it a squat to a knee tap if the leg extended is too much. And then I'll walk you through the other exercises as we get there. We're moving in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We squat it down, toe touch. So this is fast movement. You want to have fast legs, fast feet. Keep the heart and chest elevated. And breathe. Find that forceful exhale. You're moving your long, beautiful legs out away from your body. 3, 2, and 1. 10 seconds. So you should be all out in those 20 seconds with each exercise because the rest is quick. 2 and 1. This is round 2. Squat to toe touch. 2 of 4. So again, you're either touching, tapping alternate toes, opposite toes, or tapping the knee, driving it up. We're using the hip flexors, the low belly, and conditioning. 2 and 1. Take this full 10 seconds. Take a really deep breath. It's just enough time for 1, 2, 1. Let's go. This is round 3. Almost done with this exercise. And then we're moving to a plank shoulder tap with a push-up. Try not to lose that stamina. Stay with it. Dig deep. Fast movement here in the legs. Last 3, 2, and 1. We have one more round. Squat to toe touch. Going in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Squat it down and toe touch. Squat to toe touch. Always have the option for the knee. If you're out of breath, if you need that little bit of dialing it back. Last 3, 2, and 1. 10 seconds of rest, coming right into plank. It's a shoulder tap, so we tap, tap, and push up. Let's begin. Take it into plank, tap, tap. Option for knees down, push up. Back to plank, tap, tap. Knees down option, push up. You can always keep the knees up. For me, knees down is where I'm at. Tap, tap, and push up. 2, 1. Rest. We have 3 more of those. So again, you can have the knees down in both the plank and the push-up, or keep those knees up. Here we go. Shoulder tap, and push-up. Keep the shoulders and hips square. Don't let them pop open as you shift the weight from one hand to the other. Take it down, press it up. You got this. Intervals are quick, and the rest is quick too. So be in it for that full 20 seconds and the full rest. Gather your breath. We go in 3, 2, 1. This is round 3. Tap and push up. Make it quick. Tap and push up. So it's still in that spirit of as many rounds as possible, as many reps as possible in that 20-second interval. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. We're coming into our final round of plank shoulder taps, and then we're coming into heel kicks. 3, 2, and 1. Tap the shoulders and push up. Last round here. Make it count. Make it fast. But fluid. So it should have the same mechanics in the final round that you had in the first. And 2, 1, rest. Heel taps or heel clicks next. If you're doing heel clicks, we squat down and we tap the heels. Otherwise, just tap alternate heels. Let's begin. Take it down, tap the heels. It's that heel click. You stop in a squat and tap the heels. Low impact is here. It's that quick heel tap. Otherwise, you're in the clicks. Hopping doesn't have to be a lot, and rest. This one will get your heart way up there. Use that 10-second rest to bring it back down. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. I'm going to take heel clicks for this round so I can come back strong in round 3. This is still high intensity effort, just without the impact. Squat and heel tap. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know you're feeling those legs. 10 seconds on the clock. Coming into heel taps or heel clicks in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Tap the heels. Take it down. Hop it up. Just that tap through the center. Keep the heart, head, and chest elevated, upright. You got this. Tap the heels for 3, 2, and 1. Big breath. We have one more round of this exercise, and then we're coming into bear plank jacks. And let's begin. Squat it down and tap. So be ready after this one to transition to your bear plank. It's tabletop with the knees hovering. And then we'll either step or jump the feet into plank. 3, 2, and 1. Come out. Find your bear plank. This is our last exercise. Just 2 minutes left. 3, 2, 1. Bear plank. Low impact. We step out and in, switching sides each time. Higher impact. You're hopping out and to the center. The key here is to keep the hips in the same plane for the entire time. They're not popping up to move the feet out, but it's the quickness rest that allows you to get your feet out into position. Excuse me. Coming into our round 2 here. Bear plank hover. Here we go. We take it out and into hover. This one is a total body move. You'll feel it in the legs. You'll feel it in the belly, shoulders and arms. Here we go. Squeeze those thumbs together. Micro bend in the elbows. 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down and rest. 2 more. Just 2 more exercises. That's 1 minute of work. 2, 1. Let's get it. Bear plank jacks. Out and in. Take it out and back in. Hop together. Out and back. Keep the belly braced. You can always step it. Out and in. Switching sides. I know you feel it. 2 and 1. Get ready for your last interval of this high intensity conditioning finisher. 3, 2, and 1. Hop it out or step out and in. Here we go. It's just 20 seconds. What can you do for 20 seconds with expert form, with commitment, with dedication? Last 5. You got it. And rest. So resist the urge to drop down too quickly. Roll up bone by bone. We have a quick transition here. 1 minute before we begin our cool down. So step it out and together. Move the arms, move the legs. So we're not wanting to drop the heart rate off a cliff here. We want to guide it slowly back to center. So out and together. Open the chest. Close. Tap. Whatever you need to do to keep your body moving. Maybe it's a reach. Whatever you need in this minute to bring your breath from that high intensity to a more moderate intensity zone. Maybe it's a rotation, freeing the spine here, and then slowly start to work your way into a wide leg position, maybe with those taps. And we'll take the toes facing forward. We're starting with our alternating lateral lunge with a tap in 3, 2, 1. This is our cool down. We tap and tap. So bend that knee with the opposite leg straight and keep the heart level with the head. So we want not to dip forward too far just yet. Using these next 15 seconds to start to slowly bring it down. Nice and easy. Big breath in and slow breath out. Slowly come up through center and we'll come down into a forward bend, but again, keep your head level with your heart and hips. Shift the weight into the ball mounds of the feet. Twist that right arm open. Keep the hips level and square here. Imagine someone pressing your palm at the top and switch. Open it up. Square the hips. Really wrap the inner thighs back in space. Press that top palm open and slowly transition out. Turn over your right leg. Come into a low lunge. Arms come up and overhead. Side bend. Right hand to the right hip. Left arm up and over. Shift the weight a little bit more forward into that front foot so you feel that hip flexor stretch. And then hands come down to frame that foot. Straighten the right leg any amount. Hug the right toes to the shin. Stretch your heart forward. Maybe sway the toes side to side, stretching inner and outer leg. Last 3. Circle the ankle, 2 and 1. Take that right knee back to join the left. Come into a kneeling position. Bring your hands behind your head. Big in breath. Open the heart and chest without flaring the low ribs. And then exhale, curl it in, bend the knees, chin to chest. Inhale, rise, reach, open. And exhale, round, curl, pull in. Inhale, lengthen, extend the spine, open the chest. And exhale, round it in. Take your hands to the mat, step your left foot forward, low lunge. Arms reach up, left hand to left side waist, right arm up and over. Big breath here. Shift the weight forward so you feel that hip flexor stretch. And then let the hands frame the left foot, straighten the left leg any amount. Start to flex the left foot, turn it in and out. So stretching inner and outer leg, circle the ankle here. And slowly bring that knee back to meet the right, puppy pose. Walk your arms out, keep your hips over your knees. Bring the crown of the head to the earth, or maybe even the chin if you want more of an upper back stretch. Really shine the sitting bones up and back, tilt the pelvis forward. Last few breaths here. And slowly start to come out. Sway your tail side to side. Come back into tabletop. Thread the needle on the right side. So as you're ready, inhale, right arm twists open. Take that right arm, thread it under left, right ear to the mat. Spider your left fingertips, spin the heart open. And then start to wrap your left arm around. Find the right hip crease. Really stretching across the shoulders here. Start to gaze forward. Come onto that right hand, one arm tabletop. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Keep the left forearm pressing into the lower back. Last big breath here. And we will switch. So left arm stretches up, twist, and then wrap that left arm under, left ear to the mat, spider the right fingertips, spin the heart open. Keep the hips square as possible. And then start to wrap your right arm around, find the left hip crease, bring your right forearm to the lower back. Embrace through the belly, gentle curl in through the belly button. Bring your left hand to the mat, drop your right shoulder, take your left ear to left shoulder. Stretch the neck here. And then slowly dropping down, bringing the arms out to T, left ear to the mat. You can also have cactus if you need to for space. Bend your right knee, take your right foot behind your left leg, roll onto the left side, the left hip. So here we're keeping the upper body square to the mat, letting the lower body twist. Breathe into the belly, receive that rotation. And switching sides now, scorpion on the other side. So rolling to the right hip, bending left knee, taking that left foot behind you, keeping the shoulders anchoring down as best as you can. Again, shifting into receiving mode here. So we had a lot of activation, a lot of doing in this practice. So just closing out with a bit of that balancing effort to receive. Come back through center as you're ready. In your own way, press up to tabletop. Take one foot forward, shift weight into the hands and then the other. Keep a generous bend in the knees, relax the head and neck, and slowly, bone by bone, roll all the way to stand. Shake out your shoulders. Let's take a huge breath in together. Inhale, reach. And exhale, sigh. That is your total body peak performance workout. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this gives you a little bit of a taste of the challenging side of cyclical fitness. So I think there's sometimes a misunderstanding that when we are honoring our cyclical nature, that it means we have to dial back, we have to ditch the high intensity, we have to rest, we have to sort of be lazy, which is something I just don't love hearing, because you can work hard, you can find the challenging effort that's going to move the needle towards your fitness goals. But with cyclical fitness, it is all in the timing. So this late follicular phase, ovulatory phase, physiology supports your high intensity work. It supports your muscle building efforts, your power, your stamina. You have things working for you. And in these quick but efficient workouts, you can get that challenge done. So I hope you enjoyed your peak performance week, your peak performance workout. Thank you for sweating with me and for letting your body be moved.